Building a custom out of an Auto World chase. This is episode 2. Lighting kind of sucks and it's freaking cold as hell out here. Okay, today I've decided that I want to build a gasser, and just so happens that this Auto World Chase 61 Dart Phoenix is the right color. So as sad as it is to ruin the Chase, I don't really care because it's going to be a custom one-off now. So start off by opening it, disposing of the packaging. And as you can see, a really pretty color of red. And sorry about the lighting here; it's kind of dark in this building and it's pretty cold. But as you can see, really pretty color of red. It's going to work famously for what we're going to do. So very first thing, I'm going to drill it out. Because we are using this paint, I don't want to scratch it, so I'm going to be pretty careful with it. So be really careful not to drill too far. Try to keep it right in the center so that you can tap it out and put a screw in it. So once you get that initial part drilled, get the bigger bit just to kind of pop the heads off. I'll usually just kind of clean it up with the screwdriver right there. You should be able to just kind of pull it apart. Sometimes they're a little tricky though. There we go. So now we have the base and the top. However, we're not really going to do anything with the top. We're just going to put some different wheels on it. I may change the height a little bit and get it just kind of a little bit of a stance. But the big thing is I'm probably going to have to cut out different places to get the wheels that I want. So that kind of brings me to my next part, which is choosing the wheels. Okay, so as you can see, I have quite a selection of wheels. I have a lot more than a lot of people do. So we want to pick the right ones. I'm kind of going for something vintage. I know that M2, they make some, they're actually Chrysler recall wheels. However, I've seen them used on a couple of their other cars. They also look like the original Moto wheel Spider, which is very rare, very hard to find, and vintage correct. Just a little bit of paint on them, you can make them look just like the Moto wheel Spider, which is what I'm going for. So just going to kind of dig through my M2 wheels here until I find them. Okay, so I've got my wheels. As you can see, they're pretty cool. I got some Blue Streak Goodyears for the front, and then I have just some plain slicks for the rear. I'm going to run all 4 of these wheels. I'm going to leave them plain chrome for now because they do look pretty good. If you want them to look more like a real Moto wheel Spider, you just kind of paint the middle black and then the inside kind of a charcoal gray color. You can look them up, they're pretty cool wheels. So let me get this stuff out of the way and we'll start on the actual car. So back to the chassis here, we'll get the wheels over here. So, and you notice I did get the front axle, I haven't got the rear. I just kind of got that axle just for some fitment. Looks like I am going to need a longer axle. Usually when I do get several M2 cars or different cars to part, I keep everything, axle, wheels, motors, basically anything that I find that I can use later. And even like these ones, I'm I'm not using them on this car, but that doesn't mean I'm going to use them on, or won't use them on another car. So keep everything. You never know when you're going to use it. These would be good trailer tires for a custom trailer. So depending on fitment, those axles actually will work in the M2 wheels. So you can use the actual axle from the Auto World with the M2 wheels. So just be sure not to crimp too hard on there. Just twist off the wheel. So really easy. Dikes are a very awesome tool in this little hobby. Let's see, it looks like one of the wheels is a little different color. That's alright, I'll fix that later. So usually I use a press to make sure that these get straight once I put them in, but for just starting them, I'll just lightly tap them. So be sure to put your tires together before you try to put them on so you don't break the hub on the wheel. It's really cold here, so kind of having a hard time with the rubber. But this way I can just kind of get an idea if I want to lift the front, lower it, keep it where it is. And for the most part, I actually really like where the front sits. So we'll see how the back sits, and we'll either add a axle here, just put a shim under the back so it just lifts it just enough that it doesn't really show up back there, but just a little bit. So let's go ahead and get the back started. And when it is really cold like it is here, you can just kind of rub them up, warm the rubber up just by friction. And then you'll notice also on these tires, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a texture on one side and smooth on the other. So always be sure before you put them on to make sure you're getting the right side out. And because the axle or the body is how it is on this car, how it covers the wheels, I'm only going to put one on to make sure I like it. Otherwise, if you press it on, you have to pull it back out. The chance of breaking is a lot higher. So this tire does rub just a little bit. So there's a couple ways that you can render that. One is by just hitting the chassis or the body a little bit right in here, which I think is what I'm going to do. Or you can just kind of shave just a little bit off the wheel. When you do that though, the wheel sets in further, and I personally think it looks funny. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of shave a little bit off of the body. You just be careful. I'm probably just going to try to do it with the glass in. So I'm just going to use this bit here on my Dremel. Again, be sure to use safety glasses. And then just lightly. So as you can see, it's just really light right there. Wheel still rubs just a little bit, but it's a lot better. So we'll hit it just one more time. Try not to overheat it because you'll boil the paint and then you're toast, you're done. Boom. Perfect. So now just do the other side. Should be good, and as you can see, didn't do anything on the outside. You can't even tell it's been done. Just right there in the wheel wells. So now it's going to be time to press those wheels on and start putting it back together just for test fitment. Okay, so this is the little press that I was talking about. I guess it's not a press, it's a vise. It's just a machinist vise. I got it at Harbor Freight. It was like 20 bucks. Awesome little tool for doing lots of different things. But the one thing I really use it for is to make sure I press these wheels and get them straight. Because nobody likes it when your wheels wobble. So just be sure not to over press it so you break the wheels. You can see got that nice and tight, perfect. And they're straight. So then you just do the other side. Just slow, be patient, no need to hurry. You can see everything's perfect, all rolls. I got the back a little too tight, but that's easily adjusted. Got that tire, and so you're all set right there. So now we're going to set that aside for a second. Bring the body back out and decide if I want to do screws or if I want to do rivets. Both have their advantages. Rivets are great if you're never going to take it apart. Again, screws are best if you plan to do stuff later, which I do. Later I plan to detail the interior as well as add some stripes just by hand. So today we're just going to finish up the actual car. Probably add some headers to it. But as you can see, it's starting to look a lot better already just with those wheels versus the ones that were on it. I do want to put some, like I said, some headers, and I think I'm going to lift the back just a skosh, just so that it has just a little rake to it. There's a lot of different ways to do that. You can bend the chassis, you can put, like I said, a little washer or something in between. I'll probably put a washer in the back on this one. That's all set. So basically what I'm going to show you is headers. There's lots of different ways to do the headers. It just kind of goes off your preference. Where I'm kind of doing a little bit of a gasser look, I want it to be kind of raw. So I'm going to just use some small aluminum tubing. Probably just going to drill a small hole in the chassis here, run it, bend it, and have it just kind of hanging here a little bit, as long as it doesn't drag. And I'm going to do the same thing on both sides. So very first thing is, once you have your idea and what you want to do, is get your drill. Be sure to use your safety glasses and just kind of drill it where headers would actually come out. So, and it doesn't have to be all the way through, it's just a place to start the header. Okay, once you get the holes, you can kind of see there right there. You might have to go a little bit bigger, just depending on the size of your pipe. But as you can see, I've got the right size hole for the header. So you're just going to kind of test fit it, make sure it fits in the hole. If not, you can clean the hole out a little bit. Then I just use my dikes because you're going to need to make like a 90-degree bend, and you can either use this or the vise. Vise is actually probably a little cleaner, but where it's aluminum tubing, it bends really super easy. So you can see I got a 90. So now you can put that, and that gives it just kind of a cool, realistic look coming out of there, other than just having it just hanging there or glued. And then you just kind of adjust it how you want it. Like I said, because it's kind of a rat rod, I want it to be raw. So I'm going to probably cut it right about here and angle it there. And I'm just going to use some super glue. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but super glue works. Generally these customs aren't ever used as toys, they just sit on a shelf. So super glue works perfectly. If you are building a custom for a kid to play with or something, well, my advice is just don't. They don't hold up near as well as production cars, in my, at least what I've seen. So anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and finish these headers, and we'll continue then. Okay, so I finished up the headers. Like I said, I just used some aluminum tubing. Drilled the holes just kind of for the realism look. I could go in here and clean all these up. I may later, but right now I'm just going to leave it how it is. But here's the difference between the original and the one with headers. It just kind of gives it a cool, different look underneath. Being that I use the aluminum tubing, it's really, really easy to bend and maneuver and shape however you want. So I did check, make sure it rolls. It is pretty close tolerance wise, so you can see it's a lot closer than it used to be as far as rubbing, but that's fine. So for now I'm just going to put it back together, and later on we're going to put some stripes on it and different things like that, detail the interior, add a shifter, just kind of make it look cool. So I'm going to finish that up real fast. And here's the little spacer that I'm going to put in, just to kind of give it a little bit of a rake on the back. So I'm going to clean up, there's a gap here. I'm going to clean that up later. We'll go over that next time as well. For now I'm just going to, like I said, just kind of finish it up. So we can design in our head how we want the stripes and whatnot for a later time. But basically, that's how you turn a 61 Dodge Dart Phoenix made by Auto World into a little bit of a gasser. You can see the difference. I mean, just the wheels make such a huge difference. Got the headers hanging down, just kind of give that cool look. A little different stance, just all around way cool ride. Try to hold this up so you can just kind of check it out. Just all around cool ride. So anyway, till next time, enjoy, have fun customizing, be sure to be safe, and check out M2 Machines for all their cool cars, as well as Auto World. And thanks for watching, have a great day. So be sure to follow us at Shade Tree Diecast on Instagram and on YouTube. Also be sure to check out M2 Machines for all sorts of really cool diecast. And thanks again for watching. Have a great day.